what do you need when you're looking to get funded for a flip property? This comes from the need for most people to get some funding to help them do the deals. Yes, you can do this without needing funding. You can have your own cash, your own money, your own retirement account, business lines of credit, credit cards, whatever. But if you need funding and you want to use funding and you want to get to do more deals because you have funding available, then you're going to need to put some things in place, and you're going to need to have some documents and some paperwork, and you're going to have a plan. You're going to have all that stuff together. So let's go through that. We actually have a pretty cool little checklist. It doesn't have everything, but it helps you get started. And that's what I want to go through today is the checklist and why do we put these things together. Another website for you to check out would be dealfindersclub.com/links. We have some links there to help you get some of these tools and resources, and then /funding. So all that is under the resources tab. But I just went through this with one of our new deal partners who is getting set up with a new lender. So that lender had these questions again. So it was really great to do that this week to refresh my memory of the stuff of starting with a new lender, because we've been doing this for a while, so we haven't had to fill out this paperwork in a while. But let me just go through it with you. Let me share my screen, and then I'm going to share this document that we have here. This is just a checklist. And if you want the checklist, give me a message, send me a message through Facebook or Instagram, YouTube, wherever you're at. And you can, if you send me a message, just give me your email so I can email this to you. And this will be helpful for anybody that's trying to get their deal funded. Okay, so let me just share the screen. All right, you should see that. And what this is just our Deal Finders Hard Money Checklist, all right? Again, it doesn't have everything for you, but it is a great place to get started. And a lot of your lenders will have a checklist similar to this. This I've added some things, and I've got some other notes to talk through. But let's just talk about the beginning, okay? When you're getting started, you want to do this in your business account, business LLC. Most of the hard money lenders or renovation loan banks and lenders, they don't want it in your personal name. This is a business. It's a business transaction, and they want to treat it that way. There's lots of reasons for that. We don't really need to get into that, but it's better for the lender if they're working with a business versus a person when it comes time for, like, if you don't pay and foreclosure comes, okay? So you want to have things ready for them. Your LLC documents, all right? Your EIN from the IRS, very, very important. You got to have that for the bank account anyway. You're going to need your bank account. You're going to need your voided check at some point. Driver's license, of course. The personal financial statement. Not all banks are going to ask this, but if they do that, then they probably won't ask for your bank statements. They may ask for 3 bank statements instead of a full-on personal financial statement. So again, depending on the lender, but these are great to have. One of the best things for you to do is go ahead and have this stuff. If you take this checklist and put it together, have it in, in old days, we'd print it out and put it in a 3-ring binder and hand it to the banker. You're not doing that today, but if you do have them in an orderly fashion, saved as a PDF and like a what's that? I can't think of any document with a sharing file, whatever, G Drive or something, right? Where you can just share the whole folder with them. It looks really good for your lender. Okay. So then we're going to jump into property info. This seems like duh, but it's amazing how many people go to a lender and they don't have this, or they don't have a deal yet. And it's really hard to work with the lender unless you have this information ready to go for them. So address, purchase contract. They're not going to give you rates and terms and anything that's real concrete until you actually have the contract and all this info. They might give you like a pre-approval letter, y'all, and I know that sometimes it feels great when buyers, or sellers see a pre-approval, makes them feel warm and cozy, but guys, that really doesn't mean much. Okay, so if you haven't given them the contract, your EIN, your bank statement, stuff like that, then everything is still up in the air. Okay, so purchase contract, assignment if you have one. Make sure you have both. Any of the listing info is helpful. Photos, always good to have photos, or a property walk, or an appraisal, or a property inspection that you could share, because they want to know, like, what is it today? They want to know what they're looking at. All right. And then your after repair value. Where is the property going to be when I'm done with it, right? You're going to lend on it today, but these lenders and bankers are expecting you to make it better. And they want to know how good it's going to be at the end, because ultimately they want their money secured there at the end, still just as safe as it is secured today in the beginning. All right, so you can do that with Ask Your Agent, or you could go into like dealfinderdata.com and print out a CMA, like a comparative analysis. You can do that. An agent can do that. PropStream VIP can do that. A lot of places can do that. The scope of work. So 2 or 3 weeks ago, we did a live walkthrough at a property where we were building our scope of work. That is something you've got to have ready, because how can you have to have your scope of work so that you can have your budget, so that you can have, your ARV and your all-in cost, and you know that there's profit at the end. So don't go to the lender and the banker unless you know what you're working with. Okay, so scope of work, your budget, your ARV, that kind of stuff. All right, of course, price, down payment amount, requested loan amount, all this comes from your budget. You got to have that put together. And then this is a big one, summary of past experience. So even it's deal partners, and we're working with our partners. They may not have the experience, so we got to use our experience to help get the deals done with the lender. So that was one thing I had to turn in, and so it's, could be pages and pages long. Typically, they want to see what you've done in the last 3 years, and they only need about 10. If you've done 10 in the last 3 years, just keep that on a spreadsheet, and you can send it right over. Look, if you haven't done 10 in the last 3 years, your rates will not be as good, and you may not get the funding for it. They may say, sorry, we only work with people that have done that, or more experience. So that's okay. You could look for another lender, or find a partner to work with. But you want to make sure you have the details, have the numbers for them, so that they can see, oh, well, this, you're a good borrower because you have experience and you've sold some for profits. Your exit strategy, of course, very, very important. A lot of the hard money lenders today actually have a product that can help you get into a refinance if you want to keep these as a rental, but you want to let them know up front, because they'll build you a plan for your project that'll help you just roll right into that. So go ahead and have that for them as well. Rehab timeline, project schedule, of course, that should be part of the scope of work. You should have that put together. So, but the bank wants to know, how long is my money going to be out there in the wind, right, floating around while you work on this house? And then when are you going to be done with it? And they really want to know, how long is this whole project going to take? Okay. Some of this optional info, we already know this, we already have this, and it's really, it helps your lender understand who you are when you are able to provide, oh yeah, I use this title company, and I use or attorney here in this state, but whatever state you're in, attorney, we use this insurance guy, proof of funds, hey, I've got this much in this account, you can go ahead and send it to them. If you've done any other loans, you can show it to them. We've got some really cool lenders that have once you use it, they have a dashboard, and you can print out, oh yeah, we've done this many, and here's our payment track record and all that. So super easy to hand over to a new lender. So these are really great things on this checklist, and this is a checklist that we've had for a while, so I could send it out to you. And I thought about a few things that I might add to it based on the conversation I had with the other lender this week, which is the property in the flood zone, yay or nay? Typically, we say just go away from flood zone properties, but not always, right? The other thing is zoning variances. Is this property zoned, or is this property being used for what it's zoned for, right? Our municipalities around here, they all did some rezoning and changing things and stuff. So you want to make sure that it's what it's being used for, house or duplex or whatever, is what it's still zoned for. Okay, so that's a big deal for for lenders as well. What was the other thing? Oh, your credit score. They always ask for what your credit score is. They may or may not actually run your credit. We like the ones that aren't messing with credit, but they do want to know what it is, and sometimes they'll ask you to run it yourself and send it in. Some of them will actually run your credit report and put that in your file. So, and the next question that I get all the time is, what is a good credit score? What does my credit score have to be to get a hard money loan or to do this business? And it depends. If, again, some of them don't run the credit. They just look at the experience. But if they're going to run credit, a 700 is great. I feel like everyone says 700 is easy peasy. If you're at 680, you can get it done. 650 becomes a challenge. So if you're in that 650 range, what can you do today to get to 680? That would be the goal, is to try to get yourself up to that 700. Makes it a lot easier. I can point you in the direction of a few people that can help you with that. Actually, if you go to that website, Deal Finders Club /funding, there's a link up there for someone that can help you with that. But that is the beginning stages of getting your flip deals funded. All right. So again, we're heading into about a month from now, April 25th, we are doing our Find and Fix workshop, where we'll spend the whole day talking about this from start to finish. And then we'll also talk about going actually on site and looking at some properties. Okay. So that is coming up. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm so glad you're here watching and hanging out with us today. Go to dealfindersclub.com/events to look at our next event coming up, because we will have something just about every week, and you are all invited. Just come and show up. Let us know you're coming so we can have a cheer for you, because it pretty much filled up last time we had a big event. So looking forward to talking to you, seeing you there. If you have a question, shoot me a message. Until then, go be a deal finder. See ya.